What's up everyone, Carlos here. We are back on Aliens Fireteam Elite. The new expansion called Pathogen is released today. So with that, I want to check out some of the new modifiers for each class that came with this DLC. Alright, so when you first finish the campaign, which is over here on the right side, so it's called Promise of a Flower. So this one has 3 different missions. They're actually much longer than the standard ones. Each one is around maybe 25 to 35 minutes depending on the difficulty, because the higher you go in difficulty, the more health the enemies have. So yeah, they can take quite a long time for each mission. So anyways, when you finish the game, you'll talk to Herrera back on the ship, and you will actually see these little icons appear on the screen, on the center of the screen and on the right side of the screen. So these are the new mods you can use for your character class, and that's what we're going to look at for this video. First up is the Gunner class. The new mod is the mini grenades. Your frag grenade is replaced with 3 smaller explosives that can be thrown one at a time, exploding on contact and dealing AoE damage in a smaller radius. The grenades replenish over time. This mod makes the grenades explode upon hitting a surface right away, unlike the standard one that explodes on a timer. You'll want to use this mod along with the other one called Disorientating Blast, which will cause knockdowns. This will buy you a few seconds for crowd control or to do damage on bosses while they don't move. You can also reduce the cooldown or increase the blast radius if you feel you need to, but for now I'll use it the way it is because my grid is kind of decked out for a lot of rapid fire shotgun damage, so I can't really make too much room to increase the blast radius, but the option is there. But for now, I do think this is a pretty good modifier for the grenade. It's a bit more useful than before, and you get to use it in a slightly different way. So yeah, for what it's worth, I think it's pretty good. Alright, now let's move on to another class. The next one is the Demolisher, my favorite one. The new mod that it got was the Precision Rockets. Your micro rockets now fire one at a time, dealing concentrated damage at the point of impact with a smaller area of effect. The rockets replenish over time. So it's kind of similar to the grenade mod the Gunner got, where you get 3 of them. They have a smaller blast radius, but they replenish a bit faster over time. You can reduce the cooldown on this one, but you don't really need to. I think for something like this, you want to increase the blast radius or focus on the ability damage itself. Alright, let's test it out on a Crusher alien, and let's see what the stumble effect looks like, if it still occurs. Ah yes, it still does cause a stumble effect. Nice, and the fact that we actually get replenishing rockets a little bit faster gives us more chances to stumble the alien. Alright, so that's 2 stumble effects. Let's try to go for some more. Of course, we got to get the rear end of the Crusher where it's not armored. There's another stumble effect. So it does buy you some time to do some damage, but not as much time as the knockdown effect from the concussion rockets. But it still is a pretty good mod, and it's something I will use in the future. And moving on to the Technician class, their new mod is called the Particle Turret. It deploys a particle turret which fires a penetrating energy beam that damages all enemies in its line of fire. Struck enemies are briefly slowed and take damage over time. You can put on dynamic delivery so it shoots a bit faster, but other than that, it seems like this turret is meant to help you slow enemies from a distance before they get close to you. So the way I see this kind of turret functioning is more like to briefly slow enemies at very long range while it buys you time to recharge your charged coils for mid and close range. So it's good for what it does at long range, so it doesn't need to focus on damage, it just needs increased rate of fire. That's all it really needs, because for a Technician class, they mostly have better crowd control with their charged coils, which covers a bigger radius with 3 of them. And of course, you can increase the radius on that, you can increase the duration or reduce the cooldown. So yeah, for what it's worth, this new mod for the turret is okay. It's something I will use, but it doesn't really need damage. It just needs increased rate of fire. Now let's move over to see what the Doc class got. It has the new mod called Field Station. Your trauma station now heals 50% more per second with a larger radius. The station refills a small amount each time the Doc kills an enemy, but it has 33% less storage. Aid kit pickups refill less. I mostly use the suppression station to slow down enemies that enter its radius. It comes with 3000 healing storage, but the new Field Station mod has 2000 healing storage. Picking up an aid kit puts 400 storage into the field station, but you get 750 storage into the suppression station. The field station lets you replenish the storage by killing enemies yourself, which can be a good way to have constant healing during a battle. I don't know. It sounds like a new way to use it, but I'm going to miss that suppression station to slow enemies down, which really buys you more time to shoot them. It really depends though. If your team has a technician that can constantly shoot out charged coils to control crowds, then you could use the field station to replenish the storage, if you get those kills that is. I think it's a decent mod that could be useful. Next up is the Recon class. The new mod is Best Friend. Sets your pups to support teammates, increasing the fire team's damage resistance, ability recharge, stumble chance, and reload speeds by 15%. While active, all enemies shot by your team's weapons are briefly revealed. Okay, here we are in game. Let's restock the ammo on these turrets, and we'll spawn in some aliens, and we'll activate our pups and see how it functions. Okay, so yeah, they only have that red outline after you shoot them when your pups are active. All the other ones are not outlined, so it's going to be hard to see them from very long range or in the ceiling sometimes in dark places. Damage resistance is only 15%. It would be better if it's 40 or 50% damage resistance, but I mean, for what it does, I don't think it's that great. I still think the standard pups are still the best ones for the Recon class. Yeah, I don't see myself using this new mod at all for this class. Alright, onto the Phalanx. The new class mod that it got was the Shock Ordnance. Shock Pulse is replaced with a ranged electrical device that discharges an area of effect on impact, dealing light damage and stunning enemies for up to 2 seconds. Okay, it sounds kind of okay. Oh, it's got a little arc to show me where my thing is going to land. Alright, so it's a shock grenade that stuns enemies. Okay. It looks okay, but what really matters is how effective it is in gameplay. So let's hop into an area where we can deal with a crusher alien. Alright, we'll just get him. Wow, no stun. Alright, let's try this again. And no stun again. Let's try one more time in the back. No stun on a crusher alien. So right there, I don't think I'll ever use this new class mod or this class ever again, because if it doesn't work how it's supposed to work on larger enemies, then what's the point? I'll just use another class. So yeah, but maybe you guys can find a better use for that device, but yeah, that's it. And the Lancer's new class mod is the Particle Pulse. It stores 3 smaller particle pulses that can be fired one at a time. Each fires a penetrating beam in front of you, damaging all enemies in its path and stunning them for up to 2 seconds. The pulses replenish over time. Alright, let's check it out. And there's 1 shot, and I have 2 more shots in reserve, while the previous one is starting to replenish pretty quickly. Yeah, the cooldown is not that long with this one. You don't need cooldown reduction, but you should put damage increase mods. Another good one is disrupting radiation, because when you hit enemies with this one, it will slow down their movement speed by 40% for 5 seconds. Now, when you hit the enemy with the particle lance and this mod is applied, you will see that their movement speed is slowed down by 40%, but also this icon will appear beneath the health bar. You can see it in red. So just wait for this icon to disappear completely until you hit them again to reapply the slow effect on them. So just keep that in mind. So with this setup, the particle lance now does multiple shots with mediocre damage, but at the same time, you can slow enemies down by 40% over time. Or if you want, you can go back to the standard particle lance with no mods attached and just put a lot of damage on there, and bam, look at that, huge chunks of damage in a single shot. But I think my personal favorite would be the next build I'll show you right here. This is the particle wave shotgun build for the Lancer. It is really strong on bosses. As long as they get pretty close, you can stun them with the particle wave, and then you just unload your shotgun with onslaught activated, and you just do insane amounts of damage on their weak point areas like that. That warrior stood no chance. Within 3 seconds, he was done. So all of that was weapon damage, not damage from the particle lance. I will leave a link to that build down below so you can check it out if you want, but that's it. That covers the new mods for each class in the Pathogen DLC for Aliens Fireteam Elite. What do you guys think about the mods? Tell me down below. Thanks for watching. This is Carlos, and I'll see you on the next video.